Come home early. Our son got injured and is in the hospital. I'm on a business trip. Don't talk nonsense. The voice on the other end of the line was my husband, the father of our dear son. I was hoping to get him to come home because it was an emergency. When Jim realized his father wouldn't be coming, he put on a sad face. But in the next moment, he pointed at the television with a surprised look. Look, it's Dad. He's home. Turning to the television, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. My name is Donna, 32 years old, living an ordinary life with my husband and son. Mike and I met through work. We were from different companies but often collaborated as business partners. After he asked me out, we dated for 2 years and got married when I was 27. Shortly after, I got pregnant, took maternity leave, and gave birth to our son Jim. I returned to work last year when Jim started daycare. Since Jim was born, the time Mike and I spent as a couple has drastically decreased, and that's been a concern for me lately. We used to go on a lot of dates. It's a bit lonely, but I guess it's a happy problem to have. After all, our child is the most precious thing in our lives. We are more than blessed and happy. One day, while we were having dinner, Mike started a conversation. Oh, that's right, Donna. I have a business trip this weekend. A business trip? On a 3-day weekend? Yeah, it's unfortunate, but the client can't meet any other day. I see. Working on long weekends, you must have it hard. Yeah, I wanted to relax at home, but it's work, so I can't help it. Upon hearing our conversation, Jim, who had been listening intently, exclaimed, with a troubled expression and began to appeal to Mike. Daddy, you have to work on your day off? Sorry, Jim, Daddy really has to go this time. No. You promised we'd go to the museum on our next day off. We can visit the museum next time, Jim. I'll definitely take you next time. Dad, you said that last time too, and we didn't go to the amusement park. Challenged by his son, Mike gave a troubled laugh. As a mother, I tried to calm Jim and reason with him. Jim, you see, your dad is working hard for you, okay? For me? Yes, that's right. He needs to work even on his days off. Just this once, so we can go on fun trips with you. So we can go on a trip next time. Of course. Next time we'll definitely make him take us to the amusement park and the museum. Yeah, Dad, you promise. Seeing Jim happily stick out his tiny pinky to make a pinky promise brought a smile to my face. I didn't want to ruin the mood, but there were many other things about Mike's recent behavior that bothered me. First of all, the number of times he worked overtime has drastically increased. He used to finish work on time and come straight back home to spend time with us. Yet recently he's only been coming home on time a few days a week. Today he happened to come home early, so we were able to have dinner together as a family. With Mike being home less, the majority of Jim's care has fallen onto my shoulders. I love Jim, and I don't mind taking care of him or doing household chores, but to be honest, there are times when I want to rant a bit. I don't want to doubt him, but is he really working overtime? Such unpleasant thoughts made my chest feel tight. To clear up my worries, I decided to talk to Mike after Jim had fallen asleep. He was watching TV with a beer in hand. I casually started the conversation. Hey Mike, there's something I want to ask. At my call, Mike turned to me and said, What's up? It might be terrible to doubt my own husband, but nervously, I asked, you've been working a lot of overtime lately. Is work really getting that busy? Well, yeah, I've been given more responsibilities, I see, but you've also been going on more business trips, even on weekends and holidays. There are client schedules to consider, right? What's up, Donna? You usually don't ask about this kind of stuff. Well, we've been spending less time as a family recently, so I was wondering if you could reduce your overtime. At that, my husband sighed, and his tone clearly showed his annoyance. Donna, didn't you just say it yourself that I'm working hard for Jim's sake? Huh? I thought you understood, Donna. I'm doing my best for the family, so why are you being so selfish? Selfish? I didn't mean to be. Anyway, please don't interfere with my work. I'm not doing this because I want to. I understand. I'm sorry. After this conversation, our relationship as a couple took a turn for the worse. In front of Jim, we pretended to be parents who got along well, but when we were alone, our conversations dwindled to a minimum. 2 weeks later, it was the first day of the 3-day weekend, and as planned, my husband left for his business trip. Since our conversation, he had been cold to me, but he acted differently that day. As he put on his shoes at the entrance, he looked apologetic and said, I'm sorry, Donna. I know it's a holiday. It can't be helped. It's work. Yeah, but it feels wrong to leave Jim with you. When I get back, I'll help out. Don't worry about Jim. Thank you. All right, well, I'm heading out now. Okay. Have a safe trip. As my husband left the house with a wide smile, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. I forced myself to smile back, playing the role of a good wife. The next day, Jim said, I want to go somewhere, so we headed to a nearby shopping mall. We did some shopping and decided to have lunch. Just after leaving the restaurant and heading to the parking lot, a group of elementary school students on bikes crashed into me and Jim at full speed. We both ended up falling to the ground. I twisted my ankle, but my son Jim was having trouble getting up. Jim, are you okay? I rushed over and called out to him. Jim started crying out loud, Mommy, it hurts. Where does it hurt? Can you stand? My foot hurts. I can't stand up. Oh no, it's swelling up terribly. The way he fell must have been bad. His ankle was visibly swollen. From the looks of it, it was probably broken. I gently helped him sit up and rubbed his back. The elementary school kids who bumped into us looked stunned and dazed at the scene. For the time being, I took their parents' numbers and sent them home. I carried my son to the car and rushed to the nearest general hospital. Even while we were waiting for our turn at the hospital, Jim was continuously crying, probably due to the pain. It's okay, Jim. Mommy's here. Even though I said so, Jim had never experienced a major illness or injury before. Even adults suffer badly from a twisted ankle, so it must be even worse for Jim. With sobbing mixed into his continuous crying, all I could do was keep comforting him. An hour later, we were finally called in for a checkup. The X-ray results confirmed that Jim's ankle was indeed broken. However, thanks to the cast, his expression seemed somewhat relieved. Now, what to do next? Mike is on a business trip and my parents live far away, so I can't rely on them. I still have to go to work, but I can't leave my son home alone with a broken ankle. I contacted my workplace and arranged to work from home for a while. For now, I should call Mike. Mike, who answered the phone after a few rings, sounded annoyed as if the call was an interruption and bluntly asked, What do you want? Even though I was irritated by Mike's attitude, I explained the situation. We were hit by a bicycle in the parking lot at the shopping mall. Jim broke his ankle. We got it casted, so he seems a bit relieved now. Mike responded. And? What do you mean, and? Don't you have anything else to say? Aren't you worried? It's just a broken bone, right? He'll be fine if he rests. But you don't have to say it like that. I'm busy. Don't call me over the smallest thing. Thinking about Jim, I knew I was asking a lot, but I pleaded with Mike anyway. I'm sorry, but is there any way you can cut your business trip short? What? What are you talking about? That's impossible. But with Jim in this condition, I can't even go shopping. I can't cook either. I don't care. Take him with you. He has a fractured ankle. How do you expect me to take him? Come home early because our son got injured and is in the hospital. I'm on a business trip. Don't talk nonsense. He snapped and hung up on me. The tone of the disconnected call echoed in my ears, and a feeling of emptiness overwhelmed me more than anger or sadness. Is your business trip that important? We're having an emergency, and yet he talks to me like that. Now I can't even do my house chores. I decided to ask for help from my mother-in-law, who lives 30 minutes away by car. When I called her, she said, I'll be right there. In the meantime, I waited with Jim, watching TV. While we waited for my mother-in-law, I told Jim that his dad couldn't come home. Jim, Daddy can't come home because he's busy at work. I want to see Daddy, Jim said. Does Daddy really have to work? Remember what I told you before, Daddy is working hard for us. Suddenly, Jim cut me off, pointed at the TV screen, and said, Mom, Daddy's not at work. What? What are you talking about? Look, Daddy's right there. What are you saying, Jim? Look, Mom, it's Daddy. Jim's face suddenly lit up with joy. Looking where Jim was pointing, I saw it too. On the screen was undoubtedly Mike, but he wasn't alone. Next to him was a young woman, and they were being interviewed at a tourist spot on live television. This can't be happening. Why is Mike there? Didn't he leave for his business trip just yesterday? My supposedly away for business husband was on the screen, smiling with a woman, arm in arm, looking just like a couple. At that moment, an indescribable emotion began to bubble up within me. This is cheating. Once I was certain, I quickly hit the record button, capturing evidence of Mike's infidelity. Not wanting Jim to see any more of this, I quickly changed the channel. Soon enough, my mother-in-law arrived. While Jim took his nap, I decided to tell her about Mike's infidelity. Mother-in-law, I have something to tell you. I stared into my mother-in-law's eyes and quietly told her, Donna, what's wrong? You seem so serious. Can you take a look at this? I played the recording from earlier. There it was, irrefutable proof of infidelity. When the interviewer asked Mike if he was on vacation, he responded gleefully, Yeah, I finally got some time off. That's great. Are you here with your wife today? No, she's still my girlfriend. Haha, I hope to marry her someday. Very sweet. Enjoy your trip. Thank you. I stopped the footage as soon as Mike's interview ended. Witnessing her son's infidelity, my mother-in-law covered her mouth with both hands, lost for words. While I was wondering where to start, my mother-in-law bowed her head deeply. Donna, I'm so sorry. My stupid son. Mother-in-law, I'm thinking about divorce. Yes, of course, I understand. I won't stop you. What that fool did is unforgivable. I'm sorry. Don't apologize. Please, for Jim's sake, you should seriously consider divorce. To confirm the truth about Mike's infidelity, I called his workplace. A staff member who was working over the weekend confirmed that Mike did not have any business trips scheduled. On the contrary, it was revealed that he had taken numerous paid leave days in the past few months. When I checked my calendar, the dates he had taken off were the same days he told me he was staying overnight at his office because of work. He was probably spending all those leaves going on all-day dates with his mistress. As more and more of Mike's misdeeds came to light, a simmering rage began to rise within me. To tell such an easily discoverable lie and to even go on a trip with his mistress, how much more does he need to make a fool out of me? Once my anger subsided, I quickly decided to come up with a plan to get back at Mike. Even my mother-in-law approved of me filing for divorce, so I'm not holding back. A few days later, before Mike got home, I invited my mother-in-law over to our place and had her wait for him in the room next to our living room. I couldn't let Jim witness this mess, so I left him with his grandfather at my in-laws' place. Unaware of anything, Mike returned home and appeared before me with a big smile on his face. I'm home. I got you guys some souvenirs. Mike held out a box of sweets, but there was no way I would be deceived by such a thing. I slapped away the box of sweets he had offered and coldly said, Did you enjoy your trip with your mistress? Ha! It's impressive, isn't it? Buying souvenirs for your family from the place you went with your mistress. When did you get so bold? Hey, Donna, what are you talking about? A trip with my mistress? Don't play dumb. I don't know. I have no idea what you're talking about, was all he repeatedly said. Suddenly, my mother-in-law appeared from the room next door, unable to bear it any longer. Even before I gave her the cue to come out, she briskly approached Mike and slapped him across the face. To the stunned Mike, she spat out angrily, What do you mean, business trip, you fool? What? Mom, what's going on? I just went on a business trip. Huh, can you still say that after seeing this? My mother-in-law slowly grabbed the TV remote and played the clip from Mike and his lover's interview. Seeing this, Mike's face turned ashen, his mouth opened and closed with no words coming out. The souvenir Mike had brought back was right from the shop that appeared in the clip. There was no more room for excuses. Perhaps realizing that he couldn't lie any further, Mike bowed deeply in apology right on the spot. His eyes were filled with tears as he began to apologize to me. I'm sorry, Donna. I thought it was just a fling. I'm not serious about her. So what? I'm supposed to let this slide because it was just a fling? Oh, that's not. But believe me, you are the one I love, Donna. Even after being confronted with all the evidence, he was still trying to deceive me with his shallow words like, I love you. I was thoroughly disgusted by him. I slammed the divorce papers in front of him. I love you. Quit messing with me. Do I still look like a fool to you? Our son got injured and you still lied to go on a trip with your mistress. Unforgivable. You make me sick to my stomach. Donna, please just calm down. Shut up. I have no trust in you anymore. I can't continue living with a deadbeat like you. You are nothing but a waste of my time and energy. Sign those papers right now and get out of our lives, you jerk. Finally realizing the gravity of the situation, Mike burst into tears. He repeatedly apologized, but I ignored him. In the end, under pressure from his mother, Mike reluctantly signed the divorce papers. Subsequently, we divorced. Of course, I gained custody of our son Jim. I claimed compensation from Mike and his mistress and returned to my parents' home. Mike was disowned by his parents, and from what I've heard, he was never allowed to set foot in his parents' home again. Since Mike initiated the affair, when his mistress was asked to pay compensation, she exploded in anger and exposed the relationship to everyone at their workplace. As a result, Mike was demoted to a dead-end department, and the woman, who had been a temporary employee, was let go and dismissed from the company. Mike's salary dropped significantly, and now he seems to be just getting by. He probably won't have the luxury to entertain women in the future. As for me, I am living a peaceful life with Jim at my parents' home. I haven't explained the reason for parting with Jim's father to him yet, but I know that one day I will have to talk about it. Until then, I want to cherish my time with Jim.